Hi there.
Hi there. That is our 44th. Hi there.
Oh my
I want to
God,
say.
that's crazy.
That is crazy. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Silhouette's JV podcast, the deepest dive into Jersey boys one can ever take. I am Gia.
And I'm David.
Yes. And we are actually recording this episode the day we are publishing it.
Yep.
That never happens. I know most of you guys have seen us like recording things 3 months in advance and then waiting.
And it's like
later.
Midnight, or like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
With Richard Hester.
Exactly. This is our
But
first
this
morning.
is morning
recording.
show. This is Good Morning America. Good morning, New Jersey.
Yes, good morning, New York. Good morning, wherever you are. Yes, good morning, Jersey. We need Joe Piscopo to be on our show, and then we can combine both morning shows.
Good morning, Guma.
Good morning, Kuma. That's it. That's our new hashtag.
That's it.
Perfect.
That's it.
All right, so we will dive right into the action. Today we have the wonderful Gian DiCostanzo. And of course, if you follow us on social media, you definitely have seen his name all over with us singing his praises. He is, of course, an actor who was in Jersey Boys on the Cruise on 3.0 and 4.0. But he's also our partner with our candles. So he is the reason why we have our merch for you. And quick plug. So if you have our fall jacket candle, we hope you're enjoying it. And our winter candle.
Coming out very, very soon.
Yes, this
it
month.
has an interesting name, a very interesting name that Gian came up with.
Yes.
It was very clever. And it's like because Gian is all about creating show specific moments, within each show that he designed the candle for. So when he came up with this name, which you'll have to find out soon, it was just perfect.
Yes, we're very excited.
And of course, aside from doing Jersey Boys, which when he did Jersey Boys on the Norwegian cruise line, he was a swing and he covered Joe Pesci, Barry Belson, and Frankie Valli. He has done multiple national tours, including Paw Patrol Live.
Which is the coolest thing.
Paw Patrol Live, and prior to Jersey Boys, Jersey Boys had that tight harmony singing. He grew up singing in barbershop quartets, and he did multiple productions of Forever Plaid with his friends from high school. Forever Plaid, you guys know Daniel Reichert was in it, and Jake Speck was in it. So everything really always paves the way for Jersey Boys, we believe.
It's true. It's incredible. And most recently, he performed in A Bronx Tale at the Axelrod Performing Arts Center in New Jersey, directed by Richard H. Blake.
Richard H. Blake.
Yes, who we had on the podcast, and also starring Mike Backus, who we also had on the podcast, which is awesome. Right now, he is running his thriving candle business, which is called Stagelight Candle Co. Find him on Instagram and everywhere you can find.
Stagelight.
Yes, Stagelight. There are different candle companies with a similar name, so make sure that it's Stagelight. And we're so blessed to partner with him. He's also stage managing a production of Legally Blonde right now on Theater Row in New York. Today is his closing show, so he's talking to us before he heads over to the theater. And coming up, he is going to be in Jersey Boys again in our old neighborhood, in our backyard at Malt Stupider Theater in South Florida next month. And this is the coolest thing. It's the first time that Jersey Boys will be performed in a stadium.
Outside stadium.
Holy shit. Yeah. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah. So
because it's been performed in arenas.
Right.
But
like
never
outside.
in an outside stadium.
Yes. Thank you for
And what a better place to do it than here in Florida.
Yeah. Florida. That's well, everything's in Florida. Everybody makes their way down to Florida anyway. When I went to A Bronx Tale in Jersey, all you could hear people talking about was them moving to Florida, going to Florida.
Oh my God, yeah. And we went to go see Gail Bennett, who is Aaron DeJesus's wife, in Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder yesterday in Long Island. Mm-hmm. Everyone's always like, oh, when are you flying down to Florida, this and this.
Yep, all the time. It's crazy. Of course, and especially in December. By the way, today is December 5th, the day we're recording this.
December 5th.
And happy holidays to everybody who celebrates.
Yeah, happy holidays.
It's the
tonight's the last night of Hanukkah, so get your candles ready for tonight.
Right here. Boom.
Get that out. Boom.
He's got it ready. And I got the red, of course, for Jersey Boys, but also for Christmas. And okay, I think we're ready to bring him on.
Let's do it.
All right, so without further ado, please welcome Gian DiCostanzo.
Woo!
Hello.
Willkommen, bienvenue.
Wrong show.
I know.
Yes, and just rocking his awesome jacket. Please show us.
Yeah,
yay for the Bliss.
Got my Bliss jacket on.
So Gian, while he was doing A Bronx Tale, he was staying by me actually, and I think he came in the night before they started, and that morning he had his jacket on, and I was like, oh, you're wearing that to your first day of rehearsal at Bronx? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's a fucking power play right
Yeah. You did
Gotta
it.
know.
How are you,
I've been
Gian?
around the block. I'm
Exactly.
doing
Yeah.
all right. I'm doing all
Yes.
right. Thanks. How are you guys?
We're doing great too.
That's great, man.
Life has been crazy. It's finally winding down. So,
Winding down.
but yours is winding right back up.
It's yep. I haven't stopped since I visited Belmont Avenue. So
Hey.
Yeah. Well,
going.
today I'm so excited. We're going to really delve into the two neighborhoods. We're going to compare and contrast Jersey Boys and A Bronx Tale, which is fun. But
Amazing.
before we do, let's talk about your old neighborhood and your early years. So could you tell us about how you grew up and when you knew that theater was your calling?
Sure. So I grew up in North Smithfield, Rhode Island. And yeah, very northeast. The smallest state in the union. Anyway, so yeah, I grew up. Yeah, I grew up in North Smithfield. And I first started getting involved actually. So in 6th grade, we had so sixth in the school that I was in, 6th grade was like the last year of middle school. It kind of like combined elementary and middle. So like it was the last year of this elementary school, and we had a big talent show at the end of the year, and every class had people participating in whatever. And this was the same year that High School Musical came out.
2006, baby.
Yeah, it was 2006, and I was obsessed with High School Musical, and I would learn all of the choreography like from those specials that they would have where they would teach you and everything. So I learned the choreography to We're All in This Together.
Yep.
And I taught my entire 6th grade class the dance to We're All in This Together, and gave out solos and everything for Ryan, Sharpay, and Troy and Gabriella. And we performed the whole thing at the talent show. And that was like the first time that I was like actually like interested in publicly like performing. So like, as embarrassing as that is to talk about now,
No, it is not.
There were definitely people who were like, what the hell are we doing? But that was like the first like big move that I kind of took into performing. After that, I went to a different school and started to do the drama club there, because a friend of mine just like dared me to audition, and I didn't really know. I didn't know what, acting and like musical theater was. The show was Oklahoma, and like he was like, oh, let's see which one of us gets a better part. And I was like, okay. And I like didn't know how to audition. I just like sang Oh What a Beautiful Morning over and over and over again, like the same like chorus part over and over again. So we both ended up just like getting in the ensemble. But that was like my first show, and then after that I did every show at school, and kind of it turned into something that I loved to do. And I, as you guys kind of mentioned, I was in a barbershop quartet a cappella group. And so that kind of really shaped who I am as a performer as well. I love singing in like tight harmony. It just like, it's that buzz that just like really sends you. So we formed our a cappella group on a band trip in like 9th grade, and we were terrible, but hey, we made it all through high school.
I've seen videos.
Yeah, you can find them, guys.
Yeah,
like on our link tree.
I've seen
Mount
videos
Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. You guys
Rushmore.
sounded. I mean, I remember when you were staying over, we used to just sit on the couch and watch videos of this one particular barbershop quartet, Vocal Spectrum, whom we both share an affinity for.
Yes.
And you guys did a lot of their arrangements, and I mean, they're hard as fuck, man.
Yeah,
they're really hard, and you guys did it. It's like, so I think that's a huge feat, man. And it like you said, it really did shape who you are. I mean, it's fabulous, man. It's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that led you into Forever Plaid, man, right? With these
Yeah.
a lot of the same guys.
Yeah. So we we kind of had like two drama teachers at our high school. One of them was like the official drama teacher, and one of them was our one of the English teachers at the school was like very into theater and everything. And we had our quartet, and our senior year, he was like, I found this show, and I think there's only 4 guys in it, and I think it'd be really cool if Mount Rushmore did Forever Plaid. And we were like, oh, that's awesome. Like, we would love to do that. And we started rehearsing for the show like our junior year. Like, we started rehearsing, or maybe like over the summer. We rehearsed for like 8 months for Forever Plaid. Like
Wow.
once a week, we like got together and like learned the music, and like subsequently learned the lines and everything, and got together and had like, we kind of like facilitated it ourselves with the help of our English teacher. He like directed it. And we had just such long music rehearsals, because the music in Forever Plaid is just so complex. Like, everything is like a 6th chord, a 7th chord, so many suspensions, and like all these notes are so crunchy and weird. And like, we were like juniors, seniors in high school, and we had never sung anything this complicated before. So we were like, okay, yeah, like we could do that. So we rehearsed for like 8 months. And I think we started rehearsing like over the summer, and we did 1 performance of Forever Plaid. We did one performance.
One night
It was
only.
at the Stadium Theater in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, which is like an 1,100 seat house. And we sold like 850 tickets. And we had like literally like the whole school came. And we also had, so our band and choir program has like an exchange program with a school in Ireland. And so we were doing an exchange that year. So they were coming over, and they had, that was their first day in America. They came to see us in Forever Plaid. So we had like 200 kids from Ireland also in the audience.
Wow.
So the energy and the like electricity in the audience was just like phenomenal that night, because it was like one night only doing Forever Plaid. Like, of course things went wrong because we only had one show. But like, it was a very cool energy that we all just like had going into it. And the audience was just like right in the palm of our hands the whole night, because like we were also, everybody knew who we were in school too. So like, it was cool to have people like come and support us and everything. So that was our like first endeavor into Forever Plaid. Because after that, so that was like 2012. We then like went off to college and like did our thing. And we all ended up kind of coming back to Rhode Island around like 2014. And our English teacher, Mr. Gevermont, was like, hey, you guys want to do Forever Plaid again? But we'll do it. So at this same theater, they had just built a smaller room. So we were going to do it kind of like in a black box style. So we did the show again. We put it up. We were older this time, and we all knew it. But this time, one of our friends, Dylan Schaefer, wasn't able to be in the show because he was going to Harvard, and you know, couldn't get out to come and do it with us. But he actually ended up music directing it. So he came in and played the piano for us. Nice. And we actually got another friend of ours whose name is also Dylan to come and be in it with us for that production. So we did I think 2 weekends of that. And then nice. After that, we did another production of it, I believe in 2016. I had directed Forever Plaid. I went to Emerson College, and I had directed a student performance of Forever Plaid. And a gentleman came to see it and was like, oh my God, I love this show. It's so cool. He ended up, I think he emailed me afterwards, and he was like, I want to take your show to my town and I want to put it up as like a fundraiser for my church. Like everybody would love it. Like I'm in a barbershop quartet. We love, this kind of stuff. And so I tried to arrange it with him, and it just wasn't working with our schedules and everything. And the cast would have to like take time out of school. And it was like really hard to arrange. And I was like, however, I mean, I can't get them to do it because of their schedules, but I was also in a production of Forever Plaid, and I can get my guys to do it for you. And so we ended up doing a third iteration of Forever Plaid.
Wow.
With the
Dylan
same
Schaefer?
guys. No, so
Dylan.
Dylan Schaefer wasn't able to do it because of his endeavors at Harvard again. But he did come to see it.
Very nice.
But we had our other friend Dylan do it with us. And so it was me, our friend Adam, Spencer, and Dylan, Dylan Bush is the other Dylan. So the four of us kind of facilitated this one on our own, because it was like, oh, we got to do this. And it was in Connecticut, and he housed us overnight. We like teched it in like 2 days. But we came in and they had the set built for us. The lights were done. Like we came in and like did the show, and they loved it. Like it was, I think we did like a weekend of, I don't even remember if it was one night or if it was like a couple of performances. But anyway, I've done Forever Plaid 3 times with the same people every time, and it's been a blast. And it's just like, it really, like, I always thought about it as like kind of an introduction to Jersey Boys, even though the stuff in Jersey Boys is kind of easier to sing than the stuff in Forever Plaid in some aspects. But I was always like, oh, like this is kind of like the 50s version of Jersey Boys.
But imagine how much it helped you to have that extensive background in tight harmony singing that just made Jersey Boys so easy for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely.
And what I'm noticing from your story, because you're only about 2 years older than we are. We both graduated in 2014 in high school, but I know, at least from our experience, we tend to, like, at least our like little niche of our generation, we learn things at a much higher level than you actually do when you're out into the real world. So for you with Forever Plaid, like you started with like one of the hardest things to do. High School Musical was the beginning for us for everything. And think how successful the first movie was. And the second one too, that was like the #1 TV movie of all time when it first premiered. So I'm with you in High School Musical. I did the same thing, 4th grade, learned all the dances. The weekend of fuck the dance along, fuck the sing along. It was, they did not do it correctly. Just fun fact. I ended up learning the back to the top part, like, because they cut scenes to go from the
basketball back and
forth.
Yeah,
exactly. So from the academic decathlon. So I ended up fun fact, in the DVD of High School Musical, they have a behind the scenes of Ashley Tisdale and Lucas Grabeel doing back to the top, and you can see that in between part. So it's like, I got it. But the thing is, like you learned how to be resourceful on your own, for that too. And we really did. We were so lucky to have access to all of that, to give us that slow burn to get to college and then like do what you've been doing since.
Before YouTube was big.
Because I think YouTube was huge for us starting our 6th grade. So you're 8th grade.
Exactly.
So
middle school. Middle school.
So I think we're all just so lucky to be at that point. And with all that work that you've done, with that 8-month stretch of learning those harmonies, because you had time to let that marinate, that led you to 10 regional productions and 3 cruises and national tours, all before you're 30. Like that's incredible. So do you ever think of your life in that way?
I really never have. I've been really fortunate to kind of to grow up the way I have. I did a lot of community theater at the Stadium Theater where we did Forever Plaid. They had their own, community theater program. And I grew up doing so much there with my friend Adam. And we kind of, we tried to do like every show. And so I got a lot of experience under my belt just in community theater, like through high school and stuff like that. And then when I got to college, I didn't really think that that's what I wanted to do. Like I didn't initially go to school for musical theater. So I started with marketing, and then I went to education, and then yeah, I was like not sure what I wanted to do. I didn't really know how to do musical theater as a living. So I started with some other things, and then I ended up auditioning for like the Rhode Island College musical, and they were like, "Why are you not a musical theater major?" And I was like, I don't know how to do this. So then that's kind of like what catapulted me to do it professionally. And then since I've been in school, I had been transferred to Emerson College, and then being at Emerson, I booked my first professional gig like one summer, and then every year after that, I have worked professionally, since I graduated, and I've been so fortunate to be able to say that, because this industry is so ridiculously difficult. So I'm so grateful. I don't really think back on how much I've done or think about it in like, oh, I've done these national tours, I've done these cruises. I'm just like so grateful for every experience that is just a step further in my career. And so grateful for the people I've met and the people I've gotten to work with and the friends I've made over the years. And I really love being able to say, like, oh, I know so-and-so, they'd be great for this. And like, just kind of putting people in touch and recommending people for certain things, because that's, I think is so important to be able to network and to help other people out, because so much of the time this industry is like, no, I'm better. No, I'm better. And it really is about who you know. And I want to be able to help other people, because it's such a difficult thing to navigate. So I'm really grateful for the people that I've met mostly, and the experiences that I've had, and being able to say that I've done the gargantuan show that is Jersey Boys is like so amazing, and I'm excited to do it at Maltz. So just having different experiences and getting those things under my belt just is catapulting me forward for more and more. So I'm excited to see what's coming up next,
Well, what an amazing segue.
Yeah, so let's jump into the cruise, and also thank you so much for always paying it forward. That's what we're all here to do. So as a reminder for all the artists out there, and honestly in any industry, it's all about helping each other. Like that's the best way to move forward. So could you tell us about your audition for Jersey Boys, and because your falsetto, I have to say, it is unbelievable. When you opened and closed A Bronx Tale, I was like, I never heard you sing, really.
Thanks. And
I was like, okay, all right, that makes sense. And it was perfect.
When did you first know you could access that part of your voice?
Yeah.
I had a lot of trouble accessing the falsetto. Like I didn't have it at all in high school. And I was very nervous because I knew I wanted to do Jersey Boys. Like I had seen the tour of Jersey Boys like a very, very long time ago. And I was like, and it reminded me of our quartet that we had. And I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to do this so bad, but I didn't have that falsetto and I didn't know how to work it. I never had taken voice lessons. And I was like, just so like unfamiliar with like how to build that. And so I didn't really start taking voice lessons until I was in college. And I just started with like more fundamentals. And then when I got to Emerson, I was like, I want to work on my falsetto. Like that is something I really want to develop because I know the trajectory of the career that I want. Like I want to play Frankie Valli. So I need to develop this falsetto and I know I have it. So we just kind of worked on it in voice lessons at Emerson, and it got stronger and stronger until I kind of ended up just going for it in an audition. I first auditioned for Jersey Boys in 2014, and it was a call for the Broadway production. I was not living in New York, but I took a bus I stayed at a friend's house. I went early, signed up non-equity. It wasn't a busy call. There were not a whole lot of people there, so I did get seen. And I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I didn't know the etiquette. I didn't know, like, I had an audition binder because I was auditioning like locally and for community theater and things like that. But I was like really like learning how to do it professionally. So I was very, very nervous. And I went in and I sang Tonight I Fell in Love by the Tokens.
Oh, I love that
Ooh.
song.
And I didn't have a great cut of it. Like, I didn't really know like how, I didn't know what I didn't know what I was doing. So like I sang just a really bad cut of it, and I wasn't like super familiar with it, but I knew it was like my voice teacher had given me that song, and I was like, oh great, like I'll do this for the audition. And so this was for Mary Sugarman, and I would assume Richard Hester was in the room, but all I remember is Mary Sugarman being there. And I sang the song, and I was like snapping and I was just like very nervous, trying to remember the words, like trying not to like forget anything. And I finished, my voice was like very shaky. And she was like, okay, thank you so much. And I took my binder and I was like ready to go. And she was like, actually, hold on a second. And I was like, okay. And so I like turned around and she was like, don't be so nervous. She was like, plant yourself on the ground and sing it again. And I was like, okay. And so I like stood still and then I sang it and she was like, okay, better. Okay, great. And she was like, thanks so much for coming in. And so that was it. And I just was like mortified. I was like, this is not going to ever happen. And so that was the first time that I auditioned for Jersey Boys, and went home, went about my life. And then in 2018, 4 years later, got I was living in New York now. I had moved. This was after Paw Patrol. I moved to New York and I was like, now I'm doing this professionally, so I have to like get to New York. And I literally just got a random email from Tara Rubin Casting for an appointment for the off-Broadway production of Jersey Boys. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, no way.
4 years. And you hadn't gone in for Jersey Boys again since 2014,
No.
right? That's so fucking crazy.
That's Tara Rubin Casting.
Yeah, they kept me on file, which was like mind blowing because I was like, just didn't know what I was doing. But like 4 years later, I guess they were like, he's probably got it figured out now. So, but I got this email and I was like, no way. I was like, so
did your heart stop?
Oh my God, my heart stopped, my stomach dropped, and I was like, I cannot believe this. Like, just to get an appointment, so I didn't have an agent. I still don't have an agent. Wink, wink, anybody who wants to sign me. But like, I was just like so astounded that I like got an appointment, and like didn't have to go to an open call or anything. Like, I got an appointment. So I was like, cool. I was like, absolutely, yes, I will be there. And by this time my falsetto was like much better. Like, I had things under control. I knew how to audition. So I went in so let me see, this timeline is like crazy because I had a lot going on at this time. And so I got this audition for Jersey Boys. I went in, and it was for, I believe Richard was there and Mary Sugarman, and I think Ben Hartman was there. And I sang Walk Like a Man and Can't Take and
never heard of
Moody's
those songs.
Mood. Yeah. They're not very popular. And it was like an 18-page packet of material that I was like, okay.
This
Here
was
we go.
This was the Frankie packet or
they called me in for Ensemble Man 1, which is now the Joey very
Joey track. Yeah.
But it was to cover Frankie, so I had to learn. I had to learn the Barry Belson monologue. I had to learn the Joey sides, and I had to learn like 7 Frankie scenes. And you know, they always say like be familiar with it, but I was like, I'm gonna memorize them. So
And
how?
Yeah. So I went in and let me see. I sang for, I think I sang first. So I sang Walk Like a Man, and they were like, okay, great. You got to call back, come back tomorrow. So then I went back and they had me, I think, do more scenes, and I sang more. And then they called me back again for an appointment. And I went in and it was just Mary. And I think I sang Moody's Mood first. And we were like, let's get the hard stuff out of the way. So I sang Moody's Mood. I sang like the song of my choice first. I sang the song of my choice first, which was Tonight I Fell in Love. And then I sang good old
reliable.
Yeah. So I still sang that. And then I sang Moody's Mood. And she was like, you were flat. And I was like,
Mary.
Oh, great.
Oh,
okay. And she was like, but you weren't flat on the material that you came in with. So I think it's just that you're not as familiar with this song. So you're not getting and reaching the notes that you need to reach. And I was like, okay. And we moved on to the scene, and we did the scenes and everything, and it went well. And I was in there for like maybe 30 to 40 minutes. Like I was in there for a long time with her, and she was like coaching me through the scene. She was coaching me through the song. Man. And I was like, wow, okay, great. Then she was like, okay, can you come back at noon? There's going to be more people here. And those more people were Richard and Ben. And so I was like, yes. At this time, I had another callback for another show I was doing. I was called back for the Buddy Holly story at the John
which you've
Engelman
done
Theater,
a few times.
Right.
Which I have done a few times. And so I was like, yes, I can make it back. But I also, between now and then, I have another appointment. So I'm going to try to like run and come back just in time, whatever. So I came back, made it back in time. I did the Frankie monologue. I sang Moody's Mood again, because she was like, go and like practice this and come back. And so I sang it again, did everything for Richard and Ben. And they were like, okay, great. Thank you so much. And so then I left, and they were doing the callbacks all in one day. So because I didn't get called back to dance at all. So I was like, okay, then I think I'm done here. I didn't make it past the second round. So then at this time, I auditioned for the PJ Masks national tour, and which is like along the same lines of Paw Patrol. It's a children's TV show.
I've never heard of PJ Masks.
Yeah, it's on the Disney Channel.
Like TJ Maxx.
Oh no.
So
Don't know
PJ
that
Masks, they at the same time, I was in for Jersey Boys, PJ Masks, and Buddy Holly at the John Engelman. So I was trying to like finagle all these auditions, and then I was first cast in PJ Masks, and they sent me the contract, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And it was like a decent contract, and I was like, okay, but I still have these other 2 shows that are like on the line. And then I got cast in the Buddy Holly story, and I was like, oh, well, PJ Masks pays more, but Buddy Holly is like an equity show. And so I ended up saying no to PJ Masks. And at this time, Jersey Boys had said no to me. So like the only option for me now was Buddy Holly. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do Buddy Holly. And then I get an email from Ashley Amber at Norwegian Cruise Lines. She's the casting director for Norwegian. And they were like, Mary Sugarman sent over your information. So we'd like to see you for the Norwegian production, the Norwegian Cruise Lines production, not the Norwegian production of,
Yeah.
of Jersey
Thank
Boys.
you.
The cruise line production of Jersey Boys. And I was like, oh my God, great. Okay. So I ended up going in for a whole, like, basically like restart audition process for that. So I went in for Richard Hester, got the same packet to do, and I sang Walk Like a Man. And then I got a call back and I sang Walk Like a Man again. And then I did some sides. And then this time I got called in to learn the dance. And they also, they do a harmony workshop too. So like I was like progressively like making it farther than I had for the off-Broadway production. And I was like, okay, great. This is looking really good. And I got called back to dance, and I was like, I can't be there on that day. I have work. And I like wasn't able to like finagle it. And I was like, is there a way I can like send in a tape or anything like that? And Ashley was like, no, they're like really strict about like being in the room. They want you to be there and learn it from them. But she was like, we'll consider you for the next round. Like, we'll take you in when we cast again in the spring. And I was like, oh shoot, okay. I like totally blew it because I have work. And then she was like, actually, hold on one second. The associate choreographer just walked in, and it was Brian Hindle, who I didn't know. And so she was like, I'll be right back. So she leaves, goes and talks to Brian, and comes to me, and she was like, you're going to do a one-on-one with our associate choreographer right now. So do you have to be anywhere? And I was like, no. This is great. Thank you so much. And so I did. Brian Hindle taught me the choreography for Who Loves You, and it was just him and I, which was like super. And I was like so nervous, but he was like super down to earth and like very easy, because choreography is not my strong suit. So I was like, oh God. But so we did it. He recorded it. I sang a little bit more, and then they were like, okay, you can leave. And then I never heard from them after that. And I was like, oh, I have to like make this decision if I'm gonna actually do Buddy Holly at the John Engelman, because they were conflicting with Jersey Boys and PJ Masks and everything. And I was emailing with Ashley, and I was like, do you have any like casting updates on this? And she was like, for now, you can take your other contract. I think we're all set for this round. But thank you so much. And so I ended up accepting the Buddy Holly at John Engelman. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later, I get another email from Ashley, and they're like, we're still looking for Jersey Boys. Can you come back in? And I was like, okay, yeah,
Oh
sure.
my God.
I just said yes
Wow.
to John Engelman, but I guess I'll come back. So I went back. I did the entire process again. And this time I danced with Danny Austin, and in a room full of everybody, not just by myself. And I already knew the choreography. So I was like, sweet, I can like skate by this. And then I made it all the way to the end, and they were only like 5 guys left that they kept. And they took me in to do like the hip hop part for C'est Soiree La. And they had me do the jazz splits for Frankie.
How'd that go?
Crazy. Because it's a very like specific movement, but I was like, okay, I can do it. But then after that, they called me back for like a final callback work session. And that was a one-on-one with Richard Hester to do the acting, and a one-on-one with Ben Hartman to do all the singing. And they each worked with me for like 30 minutes in the room,
Wow.
which was amazing. And I got so much more insight about the show with Richard, and Ben really helped me work through Moody's mood, which I had struggled with. But he like took the time to help me really learn it. And then I think a couple days later, I got the email that I was cast for a swing position. And I literally, this was like the only time I like actually like cried for joy, like that I got cast. I like literally teared up, and I was like, oh my God, this is my dream come true. So yeah, that's my like 4 or 5 month long story.
My
of
God.
More like
cast in Jersey Boys.
4 or 5 years story.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
stress to be in between contracts like that and to nail the jersey contract, that must have been
Yeah.
insane.
Had you signed any papers yet?
Yeah, with-
No,
Buddy?
I had
Okay.
I
Thank
had for
God.
some like I accepted, like I had like a verbal acceptance, and they sent me the contract, but for some reason I didn't sign it yet. It was just sitting in my email when
Meant to
all
be.
this Jersey Boys stuff ended up happening, and I
knew.
emailed the
You knew.
Engelman, and I was like, I'm so sorry, but I just like was offered my dream role, and I have to drop out of Buddy Holly, and they were like super cool about it, and I was so nervous that they were gonna be like, "Oh, fuck you," and you're never gonna work here again. But they were like, "We're so happy for you. If like the most that we ask of you is that like you just like work with us until we find a replacement." And I was like, absolutely, like whatever you need to make this transition easier. But they ended up finding somebody like a week later, so it all worked out, and I think, you know,
Thank God.
I ended up doing Jersey Boys for 6 months, 7 months.
Well,
So-
salute. Well, so and all of this was correspondence through email
Yes.
with them over the because I wouldn't know what to do at that point. I would definitely email them, of course, for the paper trail. But like, can I talk to you on the phone so we could actually like talk this through? But I can imagine how stressful that is.
Yeah, it was. Whew.
Well, huge congrats. And that, so, but also, if we could go back a little bit, when did
Yes.
you join Equity?
I have not joined Equity. I am
What?
still a non-union actor. Yes.
I'm in shock. And that is,
Yes.
that makes me feel very, no, that's going to help so many people because I would think that it just wouldn't work.
That's how a lot of people get their equity cards, by doing an equity show as a non-equity person.
Yes.
And like, especially on the cruise is, you know, the cruise is on water. So it's
So
like,
it's
what is it?
non-jurisdictional.
Non-jurisdictional. So
Ah.
that was the word. So
Right.
like they have equity and non-equity people. in the
Well,
show.
Correct.
Extra freaking jersey. Who needs a card?
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
I am with Maltz Jupiter. I am getting my card. So I will be
Beautiful.
going Equity.
That's cool.
After that
So-
Jersey
So
Boys.
how do you feel like kind of now that like it's like a different kind of move now? Are you because everything after COVID, like some places are requiring equity, some aren't. Are you worried about that with the climate of equity right now?
For me, I feel like Equity, some people know this, some people don't, but they opened their enrollment. So a lot of people are like hesitant to go, and the audition processes are going to be different now. And basically joining Equity is kind of like you're in a whole different pool of artists now, and a whole different pool of talent, because these are the same people who are now on Broadway. So you have to be able to compete with that. And I feel as though I've worked hard enough, and I've gotten the experience that I need to now transition into this higher caliber of the industry. So I'm excited for it, and I feel like I've earned it. It's not to toot my own horn, but I feel like I've earned it.
Toot it.
Absolutely, yes.
Fucking toot it.
Yeah. 10 years and doing everything. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for it. But it is going to be, you know, a scary kind of trial by fire to see how it goes, but you know.
Well, best of luck and break all the legs. So if we could transition into
This is a Bronx Tale.
exactly, since it's fresh.
My story.
So well, yeah, go ahead.
Well,
You wanna go?
because so last month, as we have said a few times during this broadcast or podcast,
Our broadcast.
you know, you did a Bronx Tale in Deal, New Jersey, at the Axelrod Performing Arts Center, directed by the legendary Richard H. Blake. You know, there were people in the show who were original Broadway cast members from A Bronx Tale, people who did the tour, and there were some other Jersey Boys people there as well. So do you what was it like being back in the neighborhood with some of those guys? And do you feel that there is a connection between the core themes of Belleville Ave and Belmont Ave?
Well,
It's kind of like a two-part question.
Yeah. So it was amazing to work with Richard H. Blake, and our entire like production team was just like Broadway. So it was like, whoa.
And Chaz
and
came for a
Chaz
run.
came for a run. That was super cool to meet Chaz.
Chaz Palminteri, man.
It's his story. So it was very cool to meet him. And
wait, his name is Calogero too.
His actual
like
name
that like I never put that together. His actual name is Calogero. Like he is Calogero, which
he
is
just
so
goes
cool.
by Chaz now.
Right. I didn't know that. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, so you all know that, you know, Richard H. Blake was a Jersey boy, and Mike Backus was a Jersey boy.
Mhm.
And our music director, Logan Menland, was one of the music directors for Jersey Boys on tour, on a couple of the tours. So we had a lot of representation in this show, and on Belmont Avenue. So it was cool to learn from all of them, because they're all older than me at this point. So it was kind of cool to be able to talk about you know, moments in Jersey Boys with Logan and Richard and Mike, and I mean, one small similarity between the shows is the doo-wop group. There are, you know, there are references to Jersey Boys in
the show.
Yeah,
in
big time.
A Bronx Tale. Yeah, and they say next year's Frankie Valley. So like they pay homage to Jersey Boys with their little doo-wop group, which I was so grateful to be a part of. And as far as the themes go, it is, I mean, obviously about Italians. So you got that. And it's kind of about like following your own path and making the right choices and decisions in life. And you know, we see in Jersey Boys, we see Tommy and Frankie and Nick and Bob kind of, you know, make these amazing choices, these, you know, this on their musical journey, but at the same time, you know, their lives are breaking down because who's cheating, who's drinking, who's gambling, who owes who money, and like, you know, their personal lives are kind of in the toilet, and they're public, to the public, it seems like, you know, they're these rock stars, which they were. But whereas in A Bronx Tale, you know, Calogero gets involved with the mafia, and he kind of has to make these decisions about like, you know, is this life for me? Kind of how Tommy gets mixed in with the mafia. And it's really about, you know, making those right choices for you, because in A Bronx Tale, you know, Sonny says like to Calogero, like, you know, this life isn't for you. This is the life that I led. Doesn't mean you have to do it too. So like you've got to, the choices that you make shape your life. So pretty much, I think those are the themes that are kind of present in both, because we do see in Jersey Boys the arc that, you know, Frankie takes with his relationships, and that Tommy takes with his friendships, even not even his romantic relationships, but his friendships that he grew up with are torn to shreds because of his, you know, his involvement and his with the mafia, and he just kind of treated everybody so poorly. So I guess those are the through lines that you can see in both of those productions.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, it seems like with your description, how, you know, it's all about the choices that you make. It's kind of like A Bronx Tale jumps right into winter with that drama. And then with us, like with Jersey Boys, it's more spread out. So
yeah,
that's what it always kind of seems like. Because when you're in Jersey, just with geography, there's so much more space. When you're in A Bronx Tale, it's so closed in.
You're
and
just in the Bronx.
Yeah. So it's like you have to just go, okay, so what happened on this day? in Jersey, you need more of the context. It kind of seems that way.
Yeah.
Some things are happening in Bloomfield, some things are happening in Belleville, some things are happening
In Brooklyn,
Fairfield.
that's where Norm Waxman comes in.
Fairfield.
So it's all over the
Yeah.
place.
They're
Yeah.
all over. Yeah.
All over the map. Well, so if we can dive a little bit into winter, since it is December, we were thinking a lot about the transition from summer to winter, because of course, just with that foil, you always have that a lot. And in summer, Frankie says, well, the road is the road, and that's why he's justifying him sleeping around on tour, especially with the Angels. But he says, well, family is everything. And that's the most ironic line in the entire show. That's what everyone remembers. That's like everyone's go-to social media hashtag is family is everything. But the context of that line is bullshit, to say the least. So then in winter, Frankie says, well, I'm not so hot for the road anymore. So that light kind of burned out for him. But after Francine dies, and in the finale of the show, Bob tells us that Frankie is now remarried and he has 3 boys. So he has so many children. And so it's so beautiful, because the whole point of the show is getting different perspectives on grief and dealing with selling 1 million records, see how you handle it. But we couldn't help but think, Frankie, why couldn't you just get it right the first time? Like, you knew what you were doing. You were so conscious of it. He was learning from Tommy on what to do, what not to do. So where do you think that shift was for Frankie, when he the light bulb went on and he's just like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I think with all of the touring and everything, you get caught up in being like, oh my God, I'm the shit. Like, everybody wants to be with me. And like, that's a high that you ride until it dies. And I think that, with his relationship with Mary, I mean, being on the road and being this rock star that he was, and being able to sleep around, it was easy. It was easy access, and it was the temptation of wanting to be involved in all of that. And saying family is everything is probably a mentality that he grew up with, from his parents, from his upbringing, being Italian, being Catholic. It's all about, having Sunday dinners and, being around the family and all of that stuff. So his upbringing is, his subconscious is like, oh yeah, family's everything. I would never do anything to hurt my family. But at the same time, he's going through this like once in a lifetime experience of stardom.
Star.
And he's kind of like probably forgotten his roots in his family, because he's taking advantage of all these things that are around him. And I think it really hits him during the sit down. He's seeing all of these people, all of his friends kind of like break down before him. Tommy has to go to jail now for something that he really fucked up, being, they were a cohesive group, and now Tommy did this thing to fuck everybody over. And it's kind of like giving Frankie the opportunity to kind of reassess all of his situations here. And now Nick wants to leave. So like during fall, everything is kind of falling apart, pun intended, obviously. So I think it's with, and Lorraine, whoever that is in real life, that relationship breaks down. And so I think everything that we're seeing here is Frankie kind of coming to the realization that, this was all good and fun, but at the core of it, we're all human beings, and we're all going through so much that, I do have to get back to the beginning where it matters most. And all of this stuff that I did, he was younger in summer. He was, kind of learning. And at the point in the sit down when, everything turns, I think, and especially when Francine passes, it's all him being like, I'm smarter and wiser now, and I've got things to take care of. So I think he just gets older and realizes that I screwed up, and I've got to make it right. And I've got to move forward in a more mature way, learning from my experiences.
You know what I think the moment is in the show? I think when he sees the horn section during Can't Take,
Mm.
I think there might be something going on in the back of his mind. He's like, okay, I have everything I ever wanted now. Like
Wow,
actually
that's
everything I
beautiful.
ever wanted now. And then after Can't Take, working my way, and then he's talking about how things are getting better with Francine. Now he's finally made that switch. He's calling her. He's like
He thinks he's going up.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's when
Right.
he hits rock bottom.
Yep.
And gravity pulls you back home.
Exactly.
Well,
Yes.
I love that. I never thought of him having all those thoughts when his back is to the audience.
Yeah.
I never
And
ever would like this just came to my
that's
head right now.
beautiful.
Just came out of my mouth.
I love it. And Gian, I loved what you said, how it was kind of just subconscious for him to say, oh, well, family's everything, because that's just what he's used to. In a
Yeah.
way, in his summer, he's kind of like Nick, where he's like, it just came out of my mouth.
It's towing the party line.
Maybe it was like that. It's just, yeah, because he was just driving. You just say stuff when you're driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Towing the party line.
I never thought about that.
You just say
so
stuff
thank
when
you.
you're driving. Oh, that's true. Oh shit.
Yeah, you're just passing the time. No, in a way,
Yep.
that's what it was. All right, now for our last topic, we have to talk about Stagelight Candle Co. Your baby.
company.
Yes. How do you,
Yes.
I know you're already like, oh, so much work. So please tell us, the conception of this idea. Yeah, just whatever you want to say.
So I wish I had a better story than it just came to me. But I was trying to think of ways to like spend my time during the COVID like lockdown period, and I was like, I was just trying to like stay busy, and I was also trying to think of ways to like make money because that was not a thing. So in like November of 2020, I was like, like what are some things I like to do? And I was like, oh, I love candles. Like I always like go into Yankee Candle or Bath and Body Works and buy candles because I'm that guy. But I was like, oh my God, like what if I combined Broadway and candles? And I had never made candles before, but I was like, it can't be that hard. So I like ordered some materials from Amazon, and I did a lot of research on waxes and the process and making candles and everything. And I made a lot of like testers just to see how it would go. And I was like, okay, like it's not that hard of a process. You just like but after I did all the research, I was like, oh, okay, so there's like a specific temperature that you have to do it at, and you have to stir it for a certain amount of time. And so there's a lot of science that goes into it. And the first candle that I thought to make was my now waitress candle, which is deep dish blueberry bacon. So I wanted to, when I came up with the idea, I looked online to see if there were any other companies that were doing this, and there are. But what I wanted to do differently was to be specific. So a lot of the other companies out there kind of just have a scent that maybe reminds you of Mamma Mia or Wicked or something to that effect. So what I wanted to do was pull from a specific moment in the show that would have a scent. So for Waitress, it's that deep dish blueberry bacon pie special. Deep shit. And for the Book of Mormon, I pulled Pastries and Turtlenecks from the song 2x2. And Beauty and the Beast, obviously the rose. So I spent a lot of time trying to come up with, okay, what shows can I do? What can I pull from? And I spent a lot of time researching the waxes and the fragrances. And I ended up ordering all of the stuff that I needed and just kind of going for it. Like I tried. So what a lot of people with candle companies do is kind of just buy the fragrance, pour it in the wax, and that it is what the fragrance is. So if they buy like a vanilla bean, they'll pour the vanilla bean and they sell a vanilla bean. But I go through the scripts, through the lyrics, I find something that I can turn into a scent, and I combine different fragrances to get the exact scent that I want. So there's different ratios of different scents, and I test between 4 and 7 different types of candles, and you have to test how they throw and how long they burn, and there's specific types of wicks for specific types of jars and specific types of waxes. So I learned a lot in this process, but it's really cool to be able to say that I like started my own business. And so I have 12 different candles now, and I've got 2 very special candles for you guys that are exclusive to Silhouettes JB podcasts.
Yay!
And it's really cool to kind of go through and create these scents, because a lot of the candles that I make you're not going to find them anywhere else, because they're specific to me, to the shows, to my company. So it's kind of cool to be able to say that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so when you said how they throw, what exactly does that mean?
So that is how
so a baseball candle. Yeah.
So there's it's basically when you throw the jar. No. So there's a cold throw and a hot throw. So the cold throw is how well the fragrance smells when the candle is not burning. And then
so strong.
Yeah,
it
so
is.
Good.
It's amazing.
So good.
You don't even need to light your candles.
The hot throw is how well the fragrance burns when you light the candle. And they are different sometimes. So the hot throw is what you want your candle to really smell like. So
okay. And with the different wicks that you use, I never knew that there were different kinds. I never thought about that.
Yeah,
because you asked, so what kind of wick do you? I'm like, I don't know.
Your elf candle has a wooden wick.
Yeah. So there's cotton wicks, which are the standard wick that you would kind of see in any normal candle, but there are different types of those wicks as well, based on the type of jar that you use and the kind of wax that you use. And there's a guide that I use on a website that kind of tells you what the best wick is that you should use for the jar and the wax that you have. And then the elf candle, I introduced a wooden wick, because for Christmas I thought it would be nice to have that nice like crackling sound, because that's so when you burn the wooden wick, it's got this little like sound. Doing some ASMR here.
Yeah.
So when you burn the wooden wick, it's kind of got like a nice little atmospheric sound to it. Yeah.
All about the detail with Stagelight Candle Co.
Yeah.
And so how long? Well, of course, you were researching what scents go well together.
Yeah.
Did you have any scents where you're just like, nah, this one's not it?
So a lot of my family, when I was testing the blueberry bacon one, were like, no, I hate this. This is awful. Like, but then there's a lot of people who love that one. So one that I really was like, no, I hate this. I've been trying to test a Hamilton candle.
Oh my God. Is it called I Hope That You Burn?
Oh yeah. See, I was thinking of that too. Originally I called it Guns and Ships, which was ideas. And I was like, okay, I can like make it smell like gunpowder and like the ocean and stuff. And I couldn't get the right scent.
That's hard.
Like in
Seinfeld.
Really hard. Kramer wants to design a cologne that smells like when you come back from the beach.
Yeah, I think I made like 6 different ones, and I was like, this is just not like every one I smelled was like, ugh, like it's just not it. So I think I'm gonna go a completely different direction on Hamilton. But that is definitely one that I was like not privy to. I was like, I liked the idea, but just like the way that the scents were combining, I was like, no, not this.
Seaweed does not.
No, I was gonna say seaweed.
throw.
Yeah. Well, with Hamilton, this is just, I'm just thinking. My first instinct would be like, what would the candle smell like when they're writing the letters? Like, hey, doctor, like what would
Yeah, the Reynolds pamphlet.
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, I've got a fragrance that smells like a library, so it's like kind of like old and musty smelling.
I love
so I want to
that.
use that one. But an idea that I have been toying with, and somebody else also gave me this idea, was your perfume smells like your daddy's got money.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've been toying with
call it daddy's money.
Do that one. I thought to call it daddy's money, but I think I'm gonna lean towards calling it Angelica's perfume, because daddy's money kind of sounds
little
Santa sugar daddy-ish. Yeah. But yeah. So those are my ideas.
We learned so much from you, because even just like for us, we set up a Shopify account, and you know how to make sure that everything's going on
guys,
time, and
Gian has been so instrumental in
getting everything to you as quickly as possible.
And he's just a wonderful person, and I'm so happy that you got to stay with me for a month, and
me too.
we all became really, really close, and
and well, so should we reveal our winter?
I guess let's reveal the name, huh? Yeah. Shall we?
Gian, please. It was your idea.
I'll let you guys do it. It's your JB podcast candle.
So for winter, this is so funny. For months, I've been trying to remember this. When we were talking to Ron Melrose, Richard Hester, I don't remember who said it, but when the four guys under restraint, when the four guys after Ragdoll are, not after Ragdoll, in between Ragdoll, when they step in between the microphones and they have that conversation where they're talking about, oh, do you ever think we'd be standing on the same stage again? No, I never thought I'd be standing again, period. So, which is called Planet Twando.
Yeah.
That's what, isn't that like?
It's literally written into the score. Planet Twando. Yeah.
That's it. Amazing. So I for months I've been trying to remember that name. So
like I just remembered it. Or Twando?
Twando. It's Twando with like a TW.
A T? Okay.
Like Twando, Planet Twando.
Okay.
And so Tommy invites Frankie to the party. There's gonna be music, food. And Frankie's like, yeah, I'll be there. What does he say? He's like, for sure.
Right.
And so then in his final monologue, during Frankie's final monologue, he says, I never made it to Tommy's party. So the name of the candle is Tommy's party, which is so, because we were going through all the different things in winter that's happening. Sun ain't gonna shine anymore. Oh, check that out. So it's a podcast. Exactly. Hey. We were thinking of all these things that they were very like metaphysical. And then it wasn't something that was like,
which is a scent. Yeah.
Exactly. So Gian came up with this idea of calling it Tommy's party.
Love it. Well, and of course, it also like with Christmas, like I know people might automatically think, oh, what a night, with Santa Pimp. So if you want to, I think that will also trigger your memory for Tommy's Christmas party.
Yeah, exactly.
When Bob lost his virginity. So it could be both. So it could be a mix of that kind of holiday cheer, but also just supposing with the melancholy nature of that line too. Because the thing is, of course, we're all about positivity and what do you think about, but we know that during this time of year, it can be really hard for people too. So if it helps you to kind of go into that part of your life a little bit, just to help you in the grieving process, I know that helps me. I tend to get very I'm very happy, but also I can get very sad. So it works for both, I think.
So yeah, so
whatever works for you.
We're gonna have some fall jacket candles available again. Thank you guys.
Yes, we're restocking a little bit.
Selling us out, well, that's not.
No, I have to say, so thank you so much to everybody who ordered a candle. We sold out with our pre-orders.
Yeah, it was sick. It was sick. And so we're gonna have some more fall jackets, and of course, Tommy's party. Hopefully we're gonna have one for each season, and you'll be able to buy
we'll do it.
Where you're gonna be able to buy one whenever you want, wherever you want. So I think this is a great time to wrap up. Thank you,
Yes.
Gian DiCostanzo, for coming
course.
on. He's getting ready for his final performance of Legally Blonde. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Find us on Spotify, anywhere you can listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker. Thank you to Anchor for sponsoring us. Greatest way to make a podcast.
Yes.
And follow us on Instagram, Silhouettes JV Podcast _.
Yes, follow Gian.
Follow Gian DiCostanzo everywhere. We have his socials for you right over here.
Everything's on our link tree. So Gian social. So it's GI_. Do you want to?
Raphael.
Oh, yes, it's right here. Follow Gian at GI_. RAFFALE. Follow on Instagram, Stagelight Candle Co. And then follow Malt Jupiter Theater for special announcements regarding the upcoming production of Jersey Boys over there.
It was January. What are the dates? 11th through the 30th?
January 11th through the 30th.
Hey, get your tickets, guys.
And we have the ticket link in our link trink tree as well.
Yep,
so if you guys want to make a trip to Florida, if you're already there, do it. Have a great time at the Sunshine.
And a salute.
Thank you, Gian, so much. A salute.
I don't have a drink.
And we're out.